What's going on, my friends? Welcome back to another episode of Ask Eggy. Now today we're going to be covering a topic that has been very widely discussed, a lot of inquiries made into. We're going to be talking about some of my high school experiences and how that went. So, we kind of covered some of the primary school stuff with like the nervous tics video. I was a weird kid. That's basically my big conception, or everybody, a big perception that everybody had of me was just, I was really weird, just a totally weird kid. Junior high was very difficult for me as well because I kind of, that's when I was kind of getting into my edgier phase, started smoking and drinking, when I was like in 7th grade, 6th grade, I was trying to be cool, trying to be more of a cool, like, right, this is junior high, this is like, this is like the next level. We had there was like new kids from different areas that were all like going to like one junior high that I was at, so it was like, I had to really bring myself out, trying to be all like cool and edgy, and that was kind of a difficult experience, didn't go terribly well. So high school, alright, so high school, when my freshman year was 2006, so I came in, and I was still kind of like doing some like my badass edgy stuff, like the guys I hung out with were still kind of like, bad guys. But the thing is that, okay, ninth grade, I had some pretty good, as far as like classes went. I had a couple classes with some of these guys that I was kind of like affiliated with. So, ninth grade, like I cut class, I was still basically being like kind of like a kind of a badass. I failed my first ever class that year, which was art, because like art class, I couldn't do it. It would be like, okay, this week we're drawing this. And like the week would go by and I'd get like half of it drunk, so like I'd keep on just like doing it over and over and over again. So I failed the class entirely, failed F, wasn't good. But then I was able to kind of get, that's when I was able to get some of this like special education help at that same time. And so I was able to kind of, that's when I was starting to rebuild, and then like in one semester, coming from like that semester, my first semester was a failed class. My second semester, I was doing so much better after getting my retard help that I needed. But anyway, so yeah, 9th grade, I was kind of still being, it was, I would say it was pretty light year. It was just a new environment. That was pretty cool. I still had people that I talked to somewhat, I was like affiliated with, like the bad dudes, when I was, and so that was all cool. But so 10th grade comes around, and every single person that I really had something to do with or knew or whatever, they're all getting kicked out of school. There were a couple of them got in fights, or they were committing crimes, or whatever the case might be. They were kicked out of school. They weren't showing up. They basically kicked them out on their ass. They got their GEDs or whatever. So then 10th grade comes around. I don't have anybody in any class, and then like, I mean, it's not even that I had a lot of people to begin with, it's usually maybe 1 or 2 classes, but it was enough, at that point, kind of, okay, well, at least I can see this guy, we can, we're going to fuck around, and it'll be fun class, I like fucking around and having a good time in class. Alright, so we'll get to that, at least like that class, but in 10th grade, there wasn't that class. So I'm sitting around, I don't talk to anybody. That was even like in 9th grade, like, I wouldn't go to my lunch, because anytime I went to lunch, this was every single day, all through high school. I hear some guys talk about how, oh, well, when I was in high school and I'd go to lunch, I ate in the library, or I ate in the bathroom, whatever. Our school was extremely low tolerance for any kind of behavior of people. They would sit there and like watch the bathrooms, like there was nobody gonna eat in the bathroom, period. Nobody could leave a certain like basically you walk through, you get your lunch, or you have your bag lunch or your home lunch or whatever, and you sit down and there's like security like everywhere watching you, so you couldn't do anything. But I had sat at a small table that I would sit at by myself every single day. Sit there by myself and just stare down at my food. I was a very slow eater, so I would never even finish my food when I was eating in my school lunches. But people would just basically come up, like just same routine over the years. People would just come up and they would just take the chairs, from my table, bring them over to the popular table where all the cool, popular people were, and I would just sit there by myself. But when I was in 9th grade, I cut a lot of classes, so there'd be some times where I would just show up at random lunches, whatever. They want to harass me, whatever, be like, fuck them, I don't care. I'd just be going and seeing my people, But 10th grade, like I said, they're all gone. So I'm just sitting by myself every day, eating lunch by myself every day. It was tough. I think that year I took yearbook at some point because basically it was like the easiest shit ever. It was basically just like messing around in like PowerPoint and like being able to like put pictures together and all this dumb stuff, or like being able to like design a couple pages or whatever. Easy shit. I think I was in 10th grade I did that. And so 10th grade, that was kind of like, you know, it was a tougher year, I would say. You know, just not really having anybody around, you know, eating by myself every day. Not really having, even not just to have people to, you know, social, or like my weird, you know, kind of you know, off the wall, off color guys that, you know, the bad dudes that I associate with, but just to have somewhere you belong. I mean, like at that point I was like, there was, you know, it was like all eyes on me as far as I was concerned. Like I was just this weird guy, like didn't talk to anybody. I was becoming like increasingly isolated, increasingly, you know, I feel like, you know, like I said, I was kind of already to begin with, but then it was like totally at that point, 10th grade, totally. And so, you know, kind of kept on getting a little worse. My grades were still a little better that because I was starting to get my retard classes. Anyways, 11th grade comes around, and that's where I really started losing it. Like the anxiety was going crazy. And then when I was in 11th grade, I've never had good grades really to begin with in the first place, but 11th grade was when I was committed to a mental institution. So basically, you know, at that point I was playing World of Warcraft constantly. You know, I was like, I was discussing like the MMO addiction video where I would like sleep through school, go home, but it was getting so bad that there were days where I would get home from school, even in World of Warcraft, even when I wanted to play World of Warcraft, I would go home, get home from school about like 2:30, 3 p.m., whatever the case was. I would sleep until like 6 a.m. the next morning straight. You know, I wasn't even eating because the depression and everything was just weighing down so heavily on me. So I was committed to a mental institution. And when I did that, then I came back once I had been, you know, taken out of the mental institution. Basically had like a little bit of like a medical leave, so to speak, from school. You know, they gave me all my homework and stuff. I threw all that shit away. I was like, fuck that. I wasn't gonna do it. Came back, started playing even more World of Warcraft just because I felt better, you know, coming back. I was like, oh yeah, you know, I had a good time. I loved being in the mental institution, one of my all-time favorite experiences of my life. So I get back to the mental institution, playing World of Warcraft, and got me on this new program where basically it was like homeschooling, so to speak. They would just, I would go to school a couple times, but it wasn't even school. It was like a different building where I'd go there a couple times a week and I'd get assigned, you know, like on Tuesday and Thursday. Okay, Tuesday, this is what you got to do. Bring this in by Thursday. Thursday, you get more work or whatever for like the weekend. Do that, come back, bring that on Tuesday. Pretty simple stuff, you know. They had like a social work or whatever, come pick you up, bring you in. Pretty simple stuff. Now, I did enough of it where I got through it. You know what I mean? Like I got through that. I still basically just like fuck off and play World of Warcraft like all the time and whatever. I wasn't caring about it, but because I wanted to drop out. I just wanted to drop out. I was like, I hate school. I want to play World of Warcraft. I want to drop out. You know what I mean? Didn't have anybody at school nothing at school was what I cared about at all. I didn't give a shit about any of it. I was like, I want my World of Warcraft. I want my video games. That's all I care about. But I got through it to my senior year, and then I was able at that point. So I'm going into 12th grade, and they basically told me, they're like, okay, well, you know, you've had this. You were committed to this crazy, you know, the nut house. School's not working out for you, but dropping out is really bad. So we could put you into this alternative learning center. You know, it's become even more competitive now, from what I understand, in recent years. But it was still pretty competitive then. You know, it was basically you get evaluated. Are you a good fit? You know, you had to, you know, be having some good reason to get in there. But thankfully, you know, they kind of said, hey, this guy's a fucking loony. It's not working out for him. And I had some people who I knew that had already gone there, that like in my neighborhood, so it all kind of worked out better to kind of get me in there. So I get into the alternative learning center, and things. I mean, it was definitely an experience for sure. You know, people in here, you know, like they're 19, 20, 21, they're criminals, single mothers, like kind of. It was basically like jail, but like school at the same time. Still wasn't doing shit though. Like that was the thing. Like you could stay in there until you're 21. And before you graduate, that's fine. They'll keep you in there until you're 21. But the thing is that you had to be doing work. You had to be making progress of some kind, and I wasn't really doing that. I mean, a little bit, but that was always my big thing. Is that I just didn't want to do my work. I'd be like, fuck it, I'm not going to do that. I want to go sleep and then get home and play some more video games. but I was able to I was trudging along. It was like, ooh, it wasn't looking good. But then all of a sudden, basically out of nowhere, I'm just, showing up, fucking around, it was just, hanging out with delinquents or whatever, that's basically what like my whole senior year was. Some really awesome, cool people, I'm not gonna lie, but it wasn't probably what I should have been doing. Anyway, though, graduation time rolls around, and people are like, the numbers of graduates was kind of like, it was iffy. So I said, listen, dude, we know you can graduate. You're not unintelligent. You're just a lazy sack of shit. Do your work. You're not doing it. Take some of these tests. Here, we're going to give you these tests. You take these tests, you get these certain projects, things completed. This will be your, meet your criteria that you need to meet to your IEP or whatever to get you out of here. So do this, get it done, and you can go. So I did. And it was like 2 months before the official graduation, and I was like, I got to just leave. Like, okay, yeah, you're gonna graduate. This is your day. This is your day you graduate. Da da da, whatever. Even though we're in this alternative learning center, we still got our diploma from the city or whatever high school, normal stuff. So I graduated normally. I was on stage and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, that was basically my high school experience. I just started off beginning. I was kind of like basically like an edgy kid, hanging out with edgy troublemakers. Then they all kind of got fucked off, and I just kept to myself. Spent all my time just kind of doing my thing. Got really depressed and anxious and isolated. Got committed. Came back to, basically just coping all day with MMOs. Graduated, I guess. So that's about it. Nothing particularly stands out to me. There wasn't any just typical stuff. Being like a beta, anxious, antisocial person. But hey, MMOs, man, that was a clutch. Thank God for MMOs. Thank God for the mental institution. Help set me, help keep me going. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna go hit the hay now. Thank you for watching, and we will catch you later.